crave serving them kids. You know what I mean? It was like, and that's when I started to realize this is bigger than me. This is not something that I'm bringing outside influence and outside attention to myself. It's me giving out of my core, out of my heart to someone else. And doing that, that's when I realized it was bigger than me. And at the end of the season, 2012, now this is something I was balancing with football. At the end of the 2012 season, I started to think, what do I want to do with myself? And now, mind you, 2009, 10, and 11, Coach Kelly called me from Notre Dame. Now, he was at Notre Dame at this point, which still is. Asked me every single year they wanted to hire me. And I said, no, I'm still playing. I still want to play. And that was me. It's just football.
Yeah.
But 2013, now Coach Jones got hired in December 2012. He called me in February 2013. And that was the moment where I knew it's bigger than me. Because I said yes instead of saying no. And I was ready to move on. And that's when I knew I'm made and I'm built for something different than football. You know, and I knew at the moment when I was like, football is getting in the way of me going and dealing with these kids.
Ooh, that transition started to happen right there.
That was you would never hear me ever say anything like football is in the way of, no.
Most of the time something else is in the way of football.
Yeah. So when those words came out of my mouth and in my mind, I'm like,
that was that shift. It's
time to go. It's time to go. So when I got the call to come here, I saw a bigger opportunity than just coming here to be a strength coach. I saw, this. I saw what I'm doing now. I saw opportunity for so much growth and so much potential, and to do what I was doing at those high schools with those kids, mentoring them and helping them mature into bigger people. And the thing about it is they weren't athletes. They were just regular students. So it wasn't like I was talking to a bunch of young men. Now we had young boys, we had boy groups, but the majority was mixed population, regular students. So we were running programs with all of them.
Awesome.
So that was the moment when I said, I don't need football no more. I'm walking away. When I gave it up, and even after that, I had a few teams calling me, and for me to say no,
to the dream,
it was what
you found your purpose. The purpose had been revealed, and you actually accepted it, because it had been being revealed a couple times. You just hadn't accepted it yet.
And it was good. It was
a
good feeling.
That's a great feeling. Yeah. So let me ask you this: once you finally walked away from the game, what lessons do you feel that you learned in sports that you was able to take and apply since you walked away from it?
I think there's quite a few. Number one is perseverance, and I think it came from not just the game of football in general. I think as a football player or an athlete in general, you learn perseverance, because you're going to get, even if you don't get bad injuries or season-ending injuries, there's still some things you have to persevere through if you want to excel. Now, there's certain people that play the sport, they just go through the motions and they don't learn the lessons. It's just like going in class.
Yes, sir.
So I learned perseverance. I learned work ethic. I think overall I learned respect.
That's strong.
I was one that it doesn't matter who the coach was. It didn't matter how he coached. I respected him. Respect and authority. But, perseverance, hard work, and respect, those are some things that I learned in football from the way my journey went, from the injuries to the transition of coaches. I had 5 different position coaches, 3 head coaches in college. Okay, so I had to readjust in
every single time,
and I changed positions 3 times, so I had to be agile. I had to be flexible to do whatever I was asked to do, and you can't do that if you ain't built to persevere and just work hard. A lot of things in life are made easier if you just work hard,
right,
and persevere,
right.
You know, and I think another thing I learned was, and this came from being in Canada. There's a lot of turnover with American guys in Canada. You know, you'll have 2 or 3 new teammates every week. That's just how it goes. Like, there's guys in and off the team. And with that, I just learned how to deal with people. Deal with so many different kinds of people. I learned how to deal with people because it's a small, up there, it's like a small community on the team. And if you don't get along, everything falls apart. You know, so you don't want to be that one to throw the wrench in the gears that stops everything.
Right.
You know, so I learned how to deal with people also. And there's a lot of smaller lessons, but I think the foundation was perseverance, respect, hard work, and just learning how to deal with people.
Those are strong right there, man.
Yeah.
Those are strong. And learning those lessons is definitely awesome that you was able to learn them, but also use them to carry over into life. Now, speaking of what you do now, and seeing those signs and clues being thrown at you earlier, what is your role now here at the University of Tennessee?
Here I just call myself the player mentor. That's, when it comes down to it, that's what I am. My title is Director of Player Welfare and Personal Development. But I help the guys grow and mature into better young men.
That's awesome.
And that's something we didn't have when I went to school. You know,
Needed.
It was needed. You know, but it's all about, you know, my focus is just having a relationship with them, and through that relationship, then I can teach them the small things in life, you know, and the things that will help them get by and get through. Because these guys are not robots. You know what I mean? They have lives. They have girlfriends. They have families. They have tons of schoolwork. They got problems finding a parking spot on campus. Like,
you get a ticket.
Yeah, they got all the regular problems. And when they step in this building, I keep that in mind that they're people.
Yeah.
You know, and that's my job, to affect them as a person and not just an athlete. So, you know, my job is all about just building that relationship with them and leading them and guiding them the right way. And I always tell them, I can help you as much as you allow me to. You know, there's 100 and something guys on the team. I am not tight with all 100 and something of them.
Right.
I'm not. That's the law of averages.
Right.
That's just the way of life. But the ones I am tight with, I think I have a lot to offer them, and they help me grow as a man also.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing.
Definitely were done. If there was a book written with some things in it, some lessons learned that you could have said, I could have picked up this book and read it, or had a class and it would have told me, hey, Ike, I learned this in football, If I don't do this and do this and do this, I'm going to struggle over here. If that was a book, it would have been like a roadmap. What would have been a couple of lessons that you would have want incorporated in that book if you could have picked it up and read it before your time playing the game was over? He had to readjust and got real.
Lessons. Take notes on the things that you initially don't think are important. Because they are. Number one. Number two, everything that you are presented with, every how do I say it? Every presentation that you have to sit through is important. So take it. And even if you don't use your notes right then and there, you're gonna use them 2 or 3 years down the road. You know, another lesson: listen to older people. Seek
wisdom, man.
Oh my God, listen to older people and don't let football be everything. Football cannot be everything. You know, my dad used to try to make me read John Maxwell's books, all these other books, when I was 13, 14, 15 years old.
You're like, why you got to read?
I'm like, I don't want to read anything.
Right.
I don't want to read.
Read? What?
Yes, I don't want to read. He used to make me do book reports, and I would do them on easy books and just read the summary and write it.
Boom.
So I cheated myself.
Yes.
Now I know that. Back then, I'm like, getting over it.
Right.
But listen to older people when they're trying to teach you lessons, because they're not teaching you off of what they haven't been through.
Right.
They're teaching you off of what they already been through, and they see you getting ready to go through it, or they see what you can do that you don't see yourself.
That potential. That's kind of what they're seeing in you before you even.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So listen to older people. Take notes on everything, and most of all, be professional. Be professional. And to me, being professional is everything you do it to the best of your ability, because you never know what's gonna come. You never know who's watching. You never know who's around. You don't know anything. You know what I mean? Like, there's a story I just read about it a couple days ago. So it's about this builder. And I'll just tell you the quick version.
I see you reading though. That's good. He's reading.
I read all the time now.
Pop soldier to read all the time ago.
Yeah. I'm like 15 years too late, but
at least you're doing it. Better late than never.
Supposed to.
Yeah.
But so this builder, he had been building houses for 20 years, and it came time for him to retire. So he was on his last job, and the boss said, "This is your last house. You know, just whenever you get it done, get it done." So this guy just was like, "Man, I'm tired. I'm just retired, whatever. I'm just gonna throw this house together." He just used whatever materials, didn't really go through it, you know, the way he did the other house. He didn't really put everything into it. Mm-hmm. It was his last house. He just trying to get it over with and go celebrate his retirement. So when the house was finished, the boss came to him with the keys, and he said, "Here, this is your house. It's a gift from me to you."
Wow.
But it was the house that he just
threw together,
nonchalantly threw together, and he didn't want to live in it because he didn't know he didn't give it his everything.
Ooh.
You know, so for me, probably my number one lesson: don't go through the motions, because I'm telling you, the 5, 4, 3 years of college you go through, it's gonna
fly by.
It's gone quickly, and if you don't make the most of every day, if you just go through the motions, you're gonna be left with that product.
Yes.
And then you're gonna have to fix it.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So it's
you just preaching to them on that one right there. You're gonna be left that product. You don't even want the product.
Yeah. And the product, and the thing about it is, the product is you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So not many people get scholarships to go play ball and get a free education, but this is the most important thing. Not your body, not the physical. Yeah, you want to make it to the league, take care of your body, do all that stuff, but your mind is more important than anything, because it will go on after you're done playing. You know what I'm saying? It will. And your mind is the last thing to go. You know what I mean? It's the last thing to go. So guess what? It's the most important thing to take care of.
Absolutely right.
Because so I could talk all day on that one, but
bro, that was strong.
I'm glad I realized it when I realized it, that football ain't everything. You know what I mean? It's not. Athletics, period, is not everything. You know, you gotta know who you are. You gotta know what your life stands for, and you gotta know what you want to do with your life. And being an athlete is just one of the things that you want to do with your life. It's not what you were meant and created to do. And what do you really want to do with your life? What do you really want to do? If you couldn't play football, what would you do?
$1 million question.
Sport is just an expression of them. It's not them.
Hope y'all heard that. I hope y'all heard that right there.
It's just an expression. It ain't them.
That's strong, man.
Yeah,
that's strong.
Yeah.
So I was gonna ask you if there was some wisdom you can leave future athletes coming behind you that's gonna play any sport. If there was some nuggets or some wisdom you can leave them, what would you tell them? You done gave them a lot already. I just asked that question to see if there was anything else that you didn't tell them, but you done gave them a lot already.
What would I tell them? I think the number one thing that helped me find out who you are. Yes. Work on yourself personally, not athletically, mentally, spiritually. Work on yourself and take quiet time every day. that alone will change you as a person. Taking quiet time, because when you're left alone with yourself,
you're gonna really meet who you are.
You got to meet who you are. You got to talk to yourself.